Good afternoon, all. Now, last lecture we had completed the fourth Animal Kingdom chapter. Now, continue with the ninth chapter, Biomolecules. Very interesting chapter and very basic chapter. Such things can came in chemistry topics also. This is just like the chemistry only. See here. Before continue this chapter in detail, I want to tell you that we will learn major topics here: carbohydrate, protein, lipid, nucleic acid, enzymes. Okay, these five major topics we can now discuss here. Okay, concentrate in textbook. There is a wide diversity in living organisms in our biosphere. Now, a question that arises in our mind is: are all living organisms made up of same chemicals? That is, elements or compounds? Each and every organism is made up of same chemical. See, each and every organism, yes, we say that sometimes yes and we say that no also. Each and every organism, the basic structural compound is carbon. All are organic one. So basic element in all living organism carbon. So each and every organism present on the earth can consist the structural component carbon. Okay. You have learned in chemistry how elemental analysis is performed. If we perform such an analysis on the plant tissue, animal tissue, or a microbial paste, we obtain a list of elements like basic components, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and several others, and their respective content per unit mass of living tissue. Each and every organism, plant tissue, animal tissue, it is basically composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and other elements also. You will learn this in chemistry that covalent bond, ionic bonds, different type of bonds are there and form the molecules. If the same analysis is performed on the piece of Earth's crust as an example of non-living matter, we obtain similar list. If we observe the non-living thing also, we also make a list, same elements. What are the differences between the two lists? In absolute term, no such differences could be made out. All the elements present in the sample of the earth crust are also present in the sample of living tissue. See here, suppose example, I am standing on the stage. Okay, now this stage is made up of wood it is formed from the plant. If you select any part, if you select any part of the earth, that is formed of the living tissue. However, a closer examination reveals that the relative abundance of carbon and hydrogen with respect to other element is higher in any living organism than in Earth's crust. Majority of the organism can consist the carbon and hydrogen in the structural compound. How to analyze chemical composition? We can continue asking in the same way. What type of organic compounds are found in living organisms? How does one go about finding the answer? To get the answer, one has to perform chemical analysis. We can take any living tissue. See how we can analyze the chemical components present in the particular specimen. See, we can take any living tissue, a vegetable or the piece of liver. Either you take the vegetable specimen for a plant tissue and liver piece for animal tissue and grind it in trichloroacetic acid mixed with the trichloroacetic acid plus using a mortar or pestle. Mortar or pestle, with that you mix the taken specimen of the plant tissue or animal tissue and mix it properly with the trichloroacetic acid. We obtain a thick slurry. Slurry, just like a sticky material. We obtain thick slurry if we are to strain this through a cheesecloth or cotton. जो तमेने cheesecloth के cotton में filter करी दो, we would obtain two fractions. One's known as filtrate, એટલે જે filter થઈને collect થયું છે, that is filtrate, or more technically the acid soluble pool, and second that is retentate. Retentate એટલે જે ફિલ્ટર જે આપણે ચીઝ ક્લોથ કે કોટન આપણે ફિલ્ટર માટે યુઝ કર્યું છે, સો એમાં જે રિટેન્ડન્ટ વધી જશે, રિમેનિંગ પોર્શન આફ્ટર ફિલ્ટરેશન or known as acid insoluble fraction. Okay, so scientists have found thousands of organic compounds in acid soluble pool. तो आखी मेथड ध्यान थी समझो, mixed with trichloroacetic acid using a mortar and a pestle. Filter with cheesecloth or cotton. So here after filter by cheesecloth or cotton, we obtain the filtrate and retentant. So filtrate is acid soluble pool. And it is known as acid insoluble pool. So here it consists thousands of organic compounds. Okay, so in this way we analyze. Scientists have found thousands of organic compounds in acid soluble pool. See, in higher classes you will learn about how to analyze the living tissue sample and identify a particular organic compound. It will suffice to say here that one extract the compound, then subjects the extract to various separation techniques till one has separated a compound from all other compound. Here in living tissue, all the compounds are in a mixed manner. So we isolate the specific component. In other words, one isolates and purifies the compound. Analytical techniques, when applied to the compound, give us an idea of a molecular formula and the probable structure of the compound. After identification of the specific compound present in the animal tissue or plant tissue, then by molecular study we identify the chemical formula and then structure of it. all the carbon compounds that we get from living tissue can be called as biomolecules. However, living organisms have also got inorganic elements. See, organic elements, so this carbohydrate, protein, lipid, vitamins, enzyme, nucleic acid, all are organic components. Whereas water is inorganic. Along with water, some minerals, phosphorus, nitrogen, sodium, potassium, chloride, magnesium, manganese, copper, zinc, all are inorganic components. So, organic consists organic component as well as inorganic component both. How do we know this? A slightly different but destructive experiment has to be done. One weighs a small amount of living tissue, say a leaf or liver, and this is called as weight. Okay, so here weighing is done in the two ways. You take the small specimen of the leaf or the liver, immediately to weight it. Okay, so that is known as weight, and allow it to dry. That is known as dry weight. So, when you want to measure again its weight afterwards, you have to choose the previous type of the weight. Say a leaf or a liver, and this is called as weight. But take the small amount of the living tissue and dry it. All the water evaporates. Allow it to dry. So water is evaporated. Remaining material gives dry weight. Now if the tissue is fully burnt, all the carbon compounds are oxidized to gaseous form, carbon dioxide and water vapor, and are removed. So you know that in the presence of oxygen only, any particular matter can be burnt successfully, and as a result it produces the carbon dioxide gas, black color. So the component which is organic in nature always produce black colored gas, that is carbon dioxide. What is remaining is known as ash. આને આપણે રાખ કહીએ છીએ. Ash, the remaining black portion. This ash contain, please remember, inorganic elements like calcium, magnesium, etc. Calcium and magnesium are remain in the ash. Inorganic compounds like sulfate, phosphate, etc. are also seen in acid soluble fraction. Therefore, elemental analysis give elemental composition of living tissue in the form of hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, carbon, etc. While analysis for compounds give an idea of a kind of organic matter. 9.1 and inorganic constituent in the table 9.2 present in living tissue. Now see table 9.1 comparison of elements present in non-living and living matter. So first column, that is of non-living one, second is of living one. See hydrogen 0.14, 0.5, carbon 0.03, 18.5, oxygen 46.6, 65. Nitrogen is very little amount. Nitrogen is present in very little amount in inorganic matter. Sorry, in non-living matter. 3.3 here. Sulfur 0.03, in living 0.3. Sodium 2.8, 0.2. Calcium 3.6, 1.5. Magnesium 2.1. See, structural component of the chlorophyll, that is magnesium. Magnesium is the structural component of the chlorophyll molecule. So magnesium is present in the abundant amount in the plant, 2.1%, and in our body very less amount, 0.1%. Silicon 27.7 and negligible. Okay. Now table number 9.2 represent inorganic constituents in the ionic and anionic form. Sodium Na+, potassium K+, calcium Ca+2, magnesium Mg+2, water. Other compounds: sodium chloride NaCl, calcium carbonate, PO4-3 phosphate ion, and SO4-2 sulfate ion. Okay, fine. From the chemistry point of view, one can identify functional group like aldehyde, ketone, and aromatic compounds, etc. But from the biological point of view, we shall classify them into amino acid, nucleic acid, nucleotide base, and fatty acid. So here amino acids are the basic components of the protein, nucleotide bases of nucleic acid, and fatty acid in the lipid. Okay, fine. Now amino acid. Amino acid are organic compound containing amino group and acidic group. See, Amino acids are known as structural and functional unit of the protein. Structural and functional unit of the protein. See, you remember the chemical structure of the amino acid. At the centermost side carbon, above side hydrogen group, one side carboxylic acid group COOH, and here amino group is there, and below R group. So here you see it carefully. This is carboxylic group acidic. Carboxylic acid group is acidic and amino group is basic. And R group is variable group. So here in amino acid you see the structure properly. This is the carboxylic group is acidic group, amino group that is basic group, and R is a variable group. So according to this, there are total 20 amino acids. There are total 20 amino acids in protein. Okay? All the proteins are not made up of all amino acids. In some protein, some amino acids are absent. So all the proteins are not made up of all amino acid. And another point, all the proteins are not made up of single amino acid. Homopolymer. It is wrong. Fine. So protein is heteropolymer. Protein is heteropolymer. It is made up of more than one type of amino acids. So all the proteins, yes, you say that all the proteins are made up of 20 amino acids. All the proteins are made up of 20 amino acids. You say like that. But all the proteins are not made up of all the amino acids. એક જ પ્રોટીનમાં બધા જ એમિનો એસિડ નથી. In some protein, some amino acids are present, some are not there. Now, here amino acid are organic compound contain amino group and acidic group as a substituent on the same carbon. That is alpha carbon. So this carbon is known as alpha carbon. So in amino acid alpha carbon is there, hence they are called as alpha amino acids. So in all amino acids, alpha carbon is present, so it is called as alpha amino acids. They are substituted methanes. There are 4 substituted groups occupying the 4 valency positions. These are hydrogen. So alpha carbon is a substituted of methane, same like a methane. It has a 4 valency. One valency is filled by hydrogen, one is filled by carboxyl group, one is filled by amino group, and one is filled by variable R group. Based on the nature of R group, there are many amino acids. However, those which occur in protein are only of 21 types. Okay, in all the amino acids there are total 20. So according to the R group, according to the variable R group, amino acids are classified into 4 groups. Let's see the table of it. Now today I will tell you the total 20 names of amino acid. This is known as Lehninger classification. Lehninger classified amino acids into four groups. Non-polar, there is a no polarity. R group, here 8 amino acids are there. Okay, the code for this amino acid is MPTP Wali. Here I will write the whole name and short forms of this specific amino acid. Wait for a few minutes. Non-polar R group consists 8 amino acids. So for that the code is MPTP Wali. R group is polar but neutral. 7 amino acids are there. GT sec. Polar negatively charged amino acid. 2 amino acids are there. AG. And polar positively charged amino acid R3. R. Okay, so the code is MPTP Wali, GT sec, AG Hull. Now I will tell you the specific amino acids. 8 and 7 15, 15 and 2 17, and remaining 3, total 20 amino acids are there. Fine. So according to this course I will write the specific amino acid, its full name and its short forms which is present in the protein structure. Fine. So first of all, MPTP Wali. Then GT sec. Then AG, and then Hull, right? Okay, one by one we will take this in detail. Okay, M, methionine. P, proline. T, tryptophan. P, phenylalanine. V, valine. A, alanine. L, leucine. And I, isoleucine. Okay, so M is methionine. Methionine can be represented by meth, proline, PRO, first 3 alphabets. Tryptophan can be represented by tri, TRY. Phenylalanine can be represented by PHE. Valine, VAL. Alanine, ALA. Leucine, LEU. And isoleucine, ILEU. Okay, so methionine, proline, tryptophan, phenylalanine, valine, alanine, isoleucine and leucine. These are 8 amino acids which are present in non-polar R group 1. Now, next 7, GT sec. Okay. So GT, 7 amino acids are this: G, glutamine; T, threonine; G, glycine; T, tyrosine; S, serine; A, asparagine, and C, cysteine. So short forms are: glutamine can be represented by GLN, threonine THR, glycine GLY, tyrosine TYR. See, one major mistake done by you: TYR, tyrosine, and TRY, tryptophan. Okay, so please be aware of this. Serine, SCR, asparagine, ASN, and cysteine, CYS. Okay, now AG. So these are the group of 8: non-polar R group, polar neutral R group, now polar negatively charged. Aspartic acid, and glutamic acid. Okay, so aspartic acid can be represented by ASP. See, ASP, that is aspartic acid, and ASN, that is arginine. Glutamic acid represented by GLU. So this is GLU, glutamic acid, and here GLN, glutamine, and here GLY, glycine. So please aware of this. Now remaining 3 positively charged: histidine, arginine, and lysine. Okay, so histidine represented by HIS, arginine ARG, and lysine LYS. Okay, so these are 20 amino acids present in the structure of the protein, and that classification can be given by Lehninger. So I hope you understand this. Here I can stop. Next thing we will discuss in next lecture. Thank you very much.